Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, a massive Gothic structure in Weston, West Virginia, is a place steeped in darkness. Built in the mid 1800th century, it was originally intended to house 250 patients, but at its peak held over 2,400. The overcrowding, inhumane treatments, and countless deaths within its walls have left a permanent stain on its history. Many believe the souls of tormented still linger there, trapped in an endless cycle of suffering. It was a crisp autumn evening when a group of five friends, Jack, Sarah, Mike, Lisa, and Chris, arrived at the asylum of overnight paranormal investigation. They were seasoned ghost hunters, armed with cameras, EMF detectors, and a thirst of the unknown. The cricketer, an elderly man with a gravelly voice, handed them the keys and warning. Some doors are better left unopened. The group started their tour in the main building, its crumbling walls and shattered windows casting eerie shadows in the moonlight. They slipped into pairs, with Chris standing behind to set up base camp in the lobby as Jack and Sarah explored the fourth floor. They heard faint footsteps echoing down the hallway. The sounds grew louder, closer, until it stopped right behind them. They turned, but the corridor was empty. Meanwhile, Mike and Lisa ventured into the medical wing, where lobotomies and electroshock therapy were once performed. The air was thick with the scent of rust and decay. As they entered a small operating room, Lisa's EMF detector spigot. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them. The temperature dropped, and they heard a low growl. Mike tried the door, but it was locked. Panic set in. The growl turned into a scream that seemed to come from all directions at once. Back on the fourth floor, Jack and Sarah found themselves in a long, narrow hallway lined with patients' rooms. The doors began to crack open one by one, revealing dark, empty spaces. But as they passed the last door, they saw something, a figure, hunched and emaciated, staring at them with hollow eyes. It lunged forward and they ran, not stopping until they reached the staircase. Down in a lobby, Chris was reviewing footage when he noticed something strange. The camera had captured shadowy figures moving in the background, figures that hadn't been there when he was filming. He called out the others, but there was no response. The walkie-talkies crackled with static, and then a voice, deep and distorted, whispered, "Join us." The group reconvened in the lobby. Shaken but determined to continue, they decided to investigate the criminally insane wing, the most feared part of the asylum. The air was heavier here, the walls leaned with scratches and cryptic messages. As they entered a solitary confinement cell, the door slammed shut behind them. The flashlight flickered, and they heard laughter, cold, mocking laughter. Sarah screamed as she felt something grab her arm. Jack swung his flashlight, revealing nothing but empty space. The laughter grew louder, and the shadows seemed to come alive, swirling around them like a living entity. Mike tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Lisa began to cry, her breath visible in the freezing air. Then, as suddenly as it began, the charcoal should stop. The door cracked open, and the group stumbled out, gasping for air. They ran back to the lobby, moving to leave immediately. But as they gathered their equipment, Chris noticed something on the camera footage. a figure standing behind them, its face twisted into a smile. They fled the asylum, never looking back, but the experience left them scared. Jack and Sarah reported seeing shadow figures in their homes, and Mike claimed to hear laughter in the dead of night. Lisa refused to speak what happened, and Chris deleted the footage too terrified to keep it. To this day, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum remains a place of unspeakable horror. Those who dare to enter often leave with more than they bargained for, because the shadow of the past are always watching, waiting, and hungry for new souls to join them.